are back. We told you we'd be back. We told you we'd be back. We're back.
It still feels like a lie.
All right, so look, E3 is coming up, kind of here already, right?
Yeah, it's officially starting on June 12th. There's some announcements coming out beforehand. You had the Guerrilla Games Collective announcing a bunch of new indie games, but the real show or the main show starts on the 12th. Ubisoft is going to have their press conference, and then on the 13th, you're going to have Microsoft and Bethesda showing you all of their new stuff. It's always a fun time of year for gaming fans.
So, all right, so what we want to do is just kind of give you our quick wish list of what we would like to see at E3 that we're probably not going to see, and we'll give you a list of what's to expect, I should say, what to expect at E3.
Yeah, like our top 3 wish list games, and then our 3 things that we think will actually be there.
Yeah. Okay, so you want me to do my wish list first?
Yeah, go ahead. You can start it off there.
Okay. We're gonna do our 3 things that we want. I'll start with number 3. Number 3. I know we're not gonna get it. I know, but it's the wish list, so I'm gonna ask for it. Elder Scrolls 6. Okay. Elder Scrolls 6. Now B said there's no chance of that happening, but no. I would argue that they did tease it at the last E3. Well, not the last one, the one the year before.
Yes.
They teased it, right? So
no, that was the last one. There wasn't an E3 last year.
True. Yes. So 2 years ago they did tease it. Now they literally just showed you some words on a screen and some refurbished Skyrim music, and they said Elder Scrolls 6. Okay, fine. But
and you lost your mind.
I did. That's all I wanted. I just wanted some validation that, yes, they acknowledge that there's an Elder Scrolls 6 coming one day. Now, I don't even think that they've worked on it yet. But You never know, man. I mean, maybe they have started to work on it. Maybe they've been working on it quietly and they have a little something to say, something. But
like so quietly that Todd Howard over at Bethesda doesn't even know what's going on.
Yes. I know that's not coming, but that's on my wish list, man.
Okay.
Maybe this is a year. It's generational that it happens, right? Once every generation, E3 has something happen that nobody sees coming. Okay, maybe it's Elder Scrolls 6.
It's not, but that's good. That's good. Keep it going.
Okay, number 2. What was number 2 for me? Number 2.
You don't know your own list.
No, I know the list. Okay, number 2. And again, this ain't.
You sound really excited about it.
No. Look. When things aren't going to happen, you try to wipe it out your memory. But number 2, Jade Empire 2. Now, Jade Empire is lost to this generation. Like, they don't even know what that is.
Yeah.
Okay. It was an amazing game. It is kind of like Mass Effect, but with a lot of kung fu. Okay.
Yeah.
That's the best way I can describe it. It was an amazing game. Great story. BioWare does great. I mean, this is a game by BioWare. BioWare does great with the stories, man.
Past tense. Look, BioWare used to be some killers, and then EA bought them, and now Anthem.
Well, I mean, look, but this is leading up to my number 1, I should say. Number 1 on my wish list. More info on the new Mass Effect that is coming out. They've already announced that they are working on a new Mass Effect, and I hope they announce something for it because we've been playing the Legendary Edition nonstop. I'm still playing it right now. In fact, our last video was about the Legendary Edition. Check it out. But I want to see more info on the new Mass Effect, and I really hope this is BioWare reclaiming their throne, so to speak, in terms of just making just excellent games and great storytelling.
Yeah, and you're gonna notice a theme. Like BioWare is all over both of our lists here.
Yes.
So for me, number 3, I'm gonna start out with not BioWare. This is a Ubisoft game that I'm hoping it was actually revealed. Oh man, I want to say maybe 4 years ago at this point. Skull and Bones.
Yeah.
It was announced after Black Flag, Assassin's Creed Black Flag, because everybody loved the sailing, the being a pirate and everything, and they were like, "Hey, why don't you just make a pirate game?" And Ubisoft was like, "Okay, we'll make a pirate game." And then they showed it off, and the trailer looked good. It was just a CG trailer, and it came out afterwards that they were talking about an online game, like an online multiplayer game, and people there was a backlash to that,
Yeah.
a strong backlash to that, and they said, okay, well, we'll make it a single player game then. We'll go dark and we'll rework it, and there's been nothing but bad news Skull and Bones since then. It's in development hell basically.
Yeah.
I don't think it's ever going to come, but this is on my wish list. I really, 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 really want that game.
All right.
Number two, this is more realistic, but also probably not going to happen. I want to see something new in the Ghost of Tsushima series.
Yeah.
Whether that's a full-blown sequel that's going to take years to come out, or like Sony has been doing with like Spider-Man and Uncharted, another game kind of with the same setting, using the same assets, but just a smaller game in scale so that it comes out faster. I'd like to see that. Maybe you can do a story of Ryuzo, going around the island as a Ronin or something like that. But I want to see more Ghost of Tsushima. Basically, is my number two there.
Well, look, what we do know is another game is coming. That's a fact,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
They are way too successful with this first one to not do a second one. So that is coming. It's just a matter of when is it coming. And, I mean, like B said, like maybe they're working on a smaller one, a la Miles Morales, kind of just hold us over until the second one is complete.
Mm-hmm.
Don't really expect it, but it would be nice to see.
Yeah. Number one is a game that I do know is coming. It was kind of confirmed earlier this year. I don't know how early they are in development, so I'm not sure if it's actually going to be at E3, but it is my number one on the wish list, and that is the Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic remake. Not a remaster like we got with Mass Effect, but a full-blown kind of reimagining of that story. It's one of the best Star Wars stories out there. At the time it came out, it was one of the best games ever made. And I want them to remake it and make it a third-person action game as opposed to the kind of turn-based combat that you saw in the first one.
What studio made that?
That was also BioWare. But the remake is not being handled by BioWare. It's being handled by, I believe I think it's Aspire is how you pronounce it.
Is that an EA company?
They're not an EA company. They handle a lot of ports and kind of remakes and things like that. They've done Borderlands 2. They did Civilization 6 Gathering Storm, a DLC
Nice.
for Civ 6. What else we got here? They've made a few Star Wars games in the past. Star Wars Jedi Knight 2, Jedi Outcast,
Okay.
Star Wars Racer. So they've got some experience with the property, and this is kind of what they do, taking other people. That's going to sound bad, but taking other people's work and releasing it again as their own. But no, I'm really looking forward to that. It's kind of similar, I guess, to what Blue Point does for Sony, where they take Shadow of the Colossus and Demon Souls, and they remake them, and reimagine them a little bit for a new audience.
Yeah.
So that's what's going to be happening with Knights of the Old Republic. Again, one of the best games ever released, one of the best stories. Had a great story, and especially at a time where Star Wars stories are struggling a little bit, right? You had the prequels, which weren't really great. This new trilogy kind of disappointed at the end. So it'd be nice to get a really solid Star Wars story again.
Yeah. All right. So that's our wish list. What do we have for expectations?
So my actual expectations for E3 are kind of tempered a bit. I don't think it's going to be too exciting. I mean, it's always fun to see the new trailers and everything, but I don't think we should expect a ton of new reveals and things like that, just because of what's been going on the past year. It's really disrupted a lot of development. So number three for our expectations, what I want to see that I think is actually going to be there. and this is something we talked about a lot, is what 2K is doing with their football games.
Yeah.
They announced last year they're going to release multiple football games. We know that they're not allowed to release simulation football games, but nobody really knows exactly what the definition of simulation is.
Yeah.
So I'm expecting to see, NFL playgrounds to go along with their basketball and wrestling series of kind of kids games. But I want to see what else they have in store for football fans, because Madden is not it.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
We're also looking at, this is something you kind of hinted at a little bit. I want to see what BioWare has in terms of Dragon Age. I don't think that we'll see a lot of Mass Effect. I think Dragon Age is what's going to be coming next, but I want to see, like you said, what BioWare looks like these days.
Yes.
Because we saw, Mass Effect Andromeda was kind of a miss. Anthem was a major miss, and I want to see if they can kind of live up to their history. So I want to see what Dragon Age is looking at this point. And I think the number one thing that I'm looking forward to at E3 is to finally see exactly what Starfield is.
Yes.
Starfield is the next RPG coming out from Bethesda. We've seen some leaked screenshots that don't really tell us anything.
No. No.
The assumption, it's Bethesda, so the assumption is it's going to be Elder Scrolls in space, right? But we don't really know.
Yeah. Yeah. So I didn't really have a top 3 list, but I want to add to what you put there. Just in general, I expect to see more next gen games displayed, because we didn't get any last year, really.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I expect that. I expect a CD Projekt Red to try to come out and say, hey, look, we got a completely revamped game of Cyberpunk, because that really disappointed. And from what I heard, they really put a lot into fixing a lot of the bugs and the issues. So I expect them to make an appearance at E3 at some point to salvage that franchise.
I'm wondering also if we're going to see the next gen version of The Witcher, or if they've just been, all hands on deck trying to save the Cyberpunk ship.
Yeah.
Because they had announced previously that they were going to do a next gen upgrade. Not like a full new release, but just an upgrade, and that was going to come out for free for people who already own The Witcher 3.
Yeah.
But yeah, Cyberpunk, man, I was pretty hyped before it came out, and then it came and it was what it was, and I'm completely off of that Cyberpunk train.
Yeah,
and
that's not a little bit of it. I was just like, it wasn't worth the hype.
It's not even going into what a deplorable company they are themselves, but just talking about the game itself, it was a major disappointment.
Yeah. Overhyped. That's the best way to put it. Is overhyped. Like, you play it. Like, when I played, I was just like, okay, it's whatever. It wasn't awful, right? But the way it was been hyped, it's just, it wasn't any better than Deus Ex or any of these other, these other first person shooter / RPG type games. You know what I mean?
It was so bad that they got a lot of exposure for other Cyberpunk games. Because people were kind of looking for the genre at that point. Once they played Cyberpunk 2077 and saw what that was about, they kind of looked in other directions. So some indie games got a little notoriety off of that. But yeah, aside from those things, those are kind of what we are hoping to see, that we think might actually be there. Obviously, I want to see what Microsoft does with Game Pass, what kind of announcements they have for that.
Yeah.
As well as the stable of studios that they just purchased. I want to see if there's any updates. We've heard not to expect Fable, not to expect any real updates on Everwild, the Rare game.
Yeah.
So we'll see there. I know that Sony doesn't really have anything scheduled at this point. They dropped out of E3 a couple of years ago. They did have a nice presentation for Horizon Forbidden West about a week or so ago, which looked phenomenal.
It did.
Just not the kind of game that I'm into.
Yeah. It pretty much wraps up what we're hoping for and what we expect. Leave a comment. Let us know what you think, what you're hoping to see, and what you're expecting to see at E3. It's hard to really kind of predict what you're going to get out of E3 moving forward. A lot of these companies are opting to just not participate anymore because it's costly, and it's cheaper just to kind of put things out from their studio and do it on their time. It sucks for us because E3 is an event, right? Like
Yeah.
you want to see everybody put on a show around the same time, during this event. Not you get something over here on this week, something next week, and
Right.
it kind of takes away from the whole experience, in my opinion. But let
Yeah.
us know what you think. Put your opinions on there, man. Anything that you're hoping you get surprised with, or something that you think we missed out on, drop that comment. Let us know.